Hello there, this is Elise Albrick, and I hope that you are having a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is that you're watching this presentation. Today I'm going to present on Job 1 to both you and my computer, and I'm going to focus on what it takes to get from day 1 to year 4 as a new professional. Like I said, I'm focusing on Chapter 6, which is getting from day 1 to year 4, and Stephanie Kurtzman's perspectives on her first 3 years as a student affairs professional and how she made it from that first overwhelming day on the job to growing and moving up in her career in year 4 at the same institution. I chose to focus on this chapter because much like Stephanie, I decided to stay at the same university that I received my bachelor's at. And, many people question that and are like, why are you doing that? You need to get out and experience different universities and different opportunities out there. But, I just felt as if this was the best place for me. And much like Stephanie, she stayed at her same undergraduate institution and continued working in residence life like she did as an undergraduate. So, that kind of just stuck out to me, and I wanted to see and focus on how she was able to grow after leaving that institution and, what it took for her when she got that job at Washington University. She'd grown up in California for 23 years and lived there, and it was just a whole different experience for her. So I just wanted to focus on that and what it takes to make it through your first few years as a new professional. How is she able to make it through from day 1 to year 4. And when looking at, her experiences, I decided to come up with this acronym, GROW UP, because when I think of what it takes to become a new professional, not just even in the student affairs, field, but anywhere, it takes growth and growing up. There are many things that you're going to encounter when you start your first job that you never encountered as an undergraduate or as a master's student. And so that's what I just wanted to focus on. And I know it might seem a little plain or basic here. Everyone's like, yeah, of course you're going to grow up. But I just want to focus on what these letters mean. What does grow up mean for a new student affairs professional? So with that, G stands for gaining different experiences. R stands for realizing that you won't know everything your first year or your first day. O stands for owning your program or whatever center or office that you're working in. W is the willingness to trust. U is understanding institutional culture. And P is becoming a professional. With that acronym, I also decided to make comparisons to the Disney Pixar movie Up. If you're not familiar, this movie was created back in 2009, and I think that it's a great way to show growth in someone who maybe would not have anticipated that much growth. Many student affairs professionals, master's students are like, oh, well, I experienced all these great things as an assistant, I've learned a lot, but when you enter that first year and when you enter your new job, there's so many things that you're going to learn and grow from, much like Carl Fredricksen did in the movie Up. He was an elderly man whose wife had passed away, and they'd never gone and achieved their lifelong goal of going to Paradise Falls. And he was just bitter and angry, and, he just decided he was going to up and take off, and he was sick of the world around him and, wanted to go to Paradise Falls like he and his wife had always dreamed of. Well, he thought that he'd kind of met his peak. He couldn't do any more, and quite to his surprise, he learned that he was able to grow a great deal from this young boy, Russell, who ended up on his front step as he, hooked the balloons to his house and took off. Carl did not expect anyone to be accompanying him on this trip or any other experience than simply just getting there and doing what he had always anticipated. He never expected any other growth other than just getting to Paradise Falls. But with that, Russell had come to him attempting to receive a Boy Scout badge, and, Carl just couldn't be bothered with it. And so, when Russell ends up with him on this trip, he's like, I have, no idea what I'm going to do. He'd never worked with children, he never had children, and he was just, so confused, much like new student affairs professionals are. But with that, they were able to embark on this incredible adventure, and he was able to learn so much from this young child that he never expected to learn in his lifetime, especially from a trip like this that he thought he was going to be, on his own. And with that, I think that I just wanted to tie that to, it might be a stretch, but new student affairs professionals and the growth that they have, and the growth that, and the investment that they have in their students, and the things that they can learn from them. When Carl finally let go and really got to know this young boy Russell, and really got to know, his experiences and learn from him, he was able to grow. Even as an elderly man, there's nothing that says that, you can't continue to grow. Just like student affairs professionals, those first few years are some of the greatest years of growth, and connecting to students and connecting to your program is essential and will allow you to, like I said, grow up. So with that, we're going to start with G, and gaining different experiences. Stephanie said that she hadn't worked in anything really other than residence life as an undergraduate and a master's student. So when she goes to work at Washington University, she has no idea what to expect in the community service and women's programs. She was so excited about this job, but she, had no idea what to do. And so, with that, she just realized that it's extremely important to engage in your experiences and be willing to and open to different opportunities that you didn't have previously. And like her, it could be, working with a program that you're unfamiliar with. Or also, she had to move to this completely different area that she had never encountered, and worked with people that, maybe were different than the people that worked at her previous institution. And it's all about just building a new life and gaining the experience that's right in front of you. You have to reach out and you have to partake in it. And that's what she stressed, is to be able to grow as a new professional, you have to engage in these new experiences and, take part in whatever opportunities come at you. With that, R, realizing that you won't know everything. We talked about change and how starting your new job is very overwhelming and different, and you have to realize that, for her, she continued working in residence life, and that's what she knew, and that's what she felt comfortable in. And it's great because she landed this job that she loved and was so excited about, but she had no idea what she was doing. And so as a new professional, you have to realize that going into it, you're not going to know everything. And I know that seems pretty obvious, but, she said for her it was an adjustment. She liked being comfortable in residence life and being able to answer any question that came at her. And at times she felt like a fraud, now working at Washington University. And one of the big things that she said, one of her coworkers said to her was, an expert in anything was once a beginner. And that's important to keep in mind. You can't go into your first job and know everything. You have to be able to, fail and be humble and learn that you're going to grow from these experiences. And just being confident in yourself, because if you're confident in yourself, then other people will be confident in you as well. O is owning your program. Being proud of the work that you do and the students that you're working with and the ideas that you have. Being open to feedback from other people that have been working there for far longer. They may know a lot more, but, also taking risks and being passionate about your work and what you're involved in, and people will really see that. And just investing in everything that you do and every day, and your students will really, really appreciate that. Also, the willingness to trust. She discusses how every day she would encounter questions like, did I make the right decision? I'm not making money in a new student and working in student affairs, but you just have to know that this is, trust that this is the right field for you, and that you've made the right choice, and that they chose you for a reason, and that you're qualified for the position. Everyone encounters that, like, am I in the right place? Little question in their head every day. but, just trusting and really partaking in the experience, and then, assessing it after a little while. And if it's not for you, then that's okay. But just being willing to trust for a little while that, this is the right decision and that the adventure ahead of you is going to be great. U in up is understanding institutional culture. Understanding that the university that you were at prior to getting your job, may have had a different culture. They may have believed in different things. Auburn stresses tradition, but, I may go to a new job that, likes change every year. So it's being willing to adapt to that and understanding and really getting to know what the culture of the university or school that you're working at is. Ask questions. How are decisions made there? How is conflict handled? What do they want people to see when they look at that university? And what does that institution really value? Getting to know those questions and getting to know the culture is really important, and your success really hinges on that. And finally, becoming a professional. It's, once again, some of these are pretty obvious, but seeing her take on them and what becoming a professional means, I found is pretty enlightening. What is a true professional? Is it dress? Is it how you interact with your students? Is it how you respond to emails and, not putting smiley faces and 25 exclamation marks? What is a professional? And when you learn that, your first few years in the job, it'll take trial and error, but, just learning from your experiences and learning what your institution expects from you is really key, and just growing and becoming a professional. So with that, I hope that through this presentation, I've been able to show how you can make it through Job 1 and what your new experience as a professional in student affairs means. And it means growth. Much like Carl in Up, you may not expect the growth that comes with your first job. You may not anticipate that things will arise and things will happen. They may not happen as planned, but it's really taking that opportunity to invest in your job and, invest in your students that will be key and really help make you successful. Job 1 will be overwhelming, and I think that's something that this book really, really showed, and I found to be very beneficial. That you won't always know what's going to happen, but it's really engaging in that opportunity. And with that, becoming a student affairs professional is simple. All you have to do is grow up, gain experience, realize that you won't know everything, own your program, be willing to trust, understand your institutional culture, and become a professional. I think if you do all those things, starting on day 1, you will make it to year 4 like Stephanie did, and you will be successful. So with that, thank you so much for listening to my presentation on Job 1, and thank you for the opportunity to take part in this class and learn all these great things that I think will be extremely beneficial to me in the future and hopefully working in student affairs and student services. So thank you very much. Hope you have a great holiday.